Have you ever wondered if something as simple as water could be the secret to a longer, sharper life after 80? You're about to find out. Welcome to Elder Secrets, where timeless wisdom meets modern science. Today, we're diving into the life-saving power of hydration, how staying properly hydrated can boost energy, sharpen memory, and even prevent life-threatening conditions in your golden years. Let's uncover the secret hiding in your glass.
Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we crack open complex topics and pull out the vital insights you need to know. Today we're diving into something so incredibly simple, so fundamental, that it just might be the most overlooked yet powerful key to unlocking a longer, healthier life: water. Now, before you think this is just another basic health tip you've heard 1,000 times: drink 8 glasses a day, please stick with us. This isn't about Hydration 101. This deep dive is about some really groundbreaking research, stuff that reveals how optimizing your water intake can actually slow cellular aging, prevent chronic diseases, and fundamentally change how your body performs at the most molecular level. Our mission today is clear. We're going to unpack the fascinating science behind water and longevity. We'll show you exactly how dehydration literally ages you from the inside out, and then equip you with practical, science-backed strategies to optimize your hydration for maximum lifespan and quality years. And here's the kicker, the piece of information that truly blew me away. And it's really the core problem we're tackling today.
A major study published just last year, 2023, by the National Institutes of Health, the NIH, found something pretty startling. People who consistently stay well hydrated throughout their lives don't just live longer, they develop fewer chronic conditions.
That's right. Things like heart disease, lung disease, diabetes, the big ones.
Exactly. But here's the shocking statistic that really highlights the urgency. The majority of adults are walking around in a state of chronic mild dehydration.
And most don't even realize it.
And that's what we're going to try and fix for you today. All right, let's unpack this from the absolute ground level into your cells. Every single one of the trillions of cells in your body is essentially a tiny, highly sophisticated biochemical water balloon.
Right, that's a great way to think about it. Water isn't just in the cell, it's the medium, the stage where every life-sustaining reaction plays out, every single second.
Your body is about 60% water by weight, but some organs are surprisingly higher.
Oh yeah, your brain and heart are around 73% water.
73%.
And your lungs are even higher, about 83%. Even your bones, which feel so solid, are roughly 31% water.
And this isn't just stored water, right? It's doing something.
Precisely. It's functional water, actively participating in everything that keeps you alive. What's truly fascinating here, though, is how directly cellular hydration impacts cellular senescence.
Senescence.
Yeah.
That's basically how fast your cells age.
Exactly. Literally how fast they age. When your cells are adequately hydrated, they maintain their structural integrity better, their DNA repair mechanisms work more efficiently, and they're better able to clear out cellular waste. It's like good housekeeping at the cellular level.
So you're saying that not drinking enough water actually speeds up the aging process right inside our cells? That sounds, well, profound.
It is. Dr. Natalia Dmitrieva, the lead researcher on that big NIH study we mentioned, found a direct link. She observed that people with higher serum sodium levels, which is a key indicator of chronic dehydration, actually had biological ages significantly older than their chronological ages.
Wow. So their bodies were literally aging faster than the calendar said they were.
That's exactly what the data suggests. Dehydration seems to accelerate aging internally.
Okay, how does that even happen? What's going on inside those tiny water balloons?
Well, it happens through several key mechanisms. First, when you're dehydrated, your cells literally shrink.
Shrink.
Yeah. Imagine trying to get nutrients into or waste out of a shriveled balloon. The cell membrane becomes less flexible, hindering those vital exchanges.
Okay, got it.
What else? Second, it hits your mitochondria. Those are the powerhouses generating all your energy, your ATP.
Right.
In a dehydrated environment, they become less efficient. They churn out less ATP, which is your body's energy currency, and they produce more reactive oxygen species.
Reactive oxygen species, that sounds kind of ominous. What are those exactly?
Think of them as cellular rust. They're unstable molecules that cause widespread damage to your cells and DNA. Much like rust corrodes metal, it's oxidative stress.
Cellular rust.
Yeah.
Okay. And you mentioned a third thing.
Yes, and this is critical. Water is absolutely crucial for proper protein folding. Proteins have to fold into specific shapes to work correctly. Without enough water, proteins misfold. They create what we call cellular garbage.
cellular garbage, like junk piling up.
Exactly. This garbage accumulates, and it's directly linked to many age-related diseases, things like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, even various cancers.
So the key insight here is really profound. Proper hydration acts like a quality control system. It literally helps prevent the cellular junk that drives major age-related diseases. It's truly fundamental.
Okay, let's zoom out from the cells now. Let's talk about one of the most critical systems for longevity, your cardiovascular system, your heart, your blood vessels, your blood itself.
No.
How does hydration fit in there? Because your blood is mostly water, right? About 90%.
Exactly, 90%. So when you're dehydrated, your blood literally becomes thicker, more viscous.
Thicker blood.
Yeah, imagine trying to pump honey through a straw versus water. Your heart has to work significantly harder to circulate that thicker blood.
That sounds exhausting for the heart.
It is. And over time, this increased workload can lead to structural changes in the heart muscle itself, potentially resulting in conditions like heart failure or irregular heartbeats, arrhythmias. So the heart's basically running on like thick sludge when we're dehydrated.
That's a good analogy. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, chronic dehydration also triggers a cascade of hormonal changes that directly impact cardiovascular aging.
Hormonal changes too. How does that work?
Well, when your body senses dehydration, it releases more of a hormone called vasopressin. You might also know it as antidiuretic hormone, or ADH.
Right. ADH tells the kidneys to hold on to water.
Precisely. That's its main job. But what happens if that system is running constantly because we're always a bit dehydrated?
Okay, I see where this is going. Chronic activation isn't good.
Exactly. Chronic elevation of vasopressin has been linked to hypertension, heart disease, and accelerated cardiovascular aging. It's like your body's emergency water conservation system is stuck in the on position, creating chronic stress on your entire cardiovascular system.
And that NIH study you mentioned earlier, did it look at vasopressin?
It did, and the findings were striking. People with higher vasopressin levels indicating chronic dehydration had a 39% higher risk of developing heart failure.
39%, that's huge.
It is, but it wasn't just heart failure. These individuals also had higher rates of stroke, peripheral artery disease, and atrial fibrillation. Essentially, they found a link between chronic dehydration and a higher risk of nearly every major cardiovascular condition.
Wow. That's incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
And you mentioned nitric oxide earlier when we were prepping. Does dehydration affect our blood vessels directly?
It absolutely does. Dehydration impairs the endothelium.
The endothelium, that's the inner lining of the blood vessels.
Correct. It's a very delicate lining, and it produces nitric oxide, which is a crucial molecule. It helps your blood vessels relax and dilate, allowing blood to flow smoothly.
So like keeping the pipes flexible.
Exactly. When endothelial function is impaired, your blood vessels become stiffer and less responsive. This accelerates the natural stiffening of blood vessels that occurs with age. It effectively gives you the blood vessels of someone much older than your chronological age.
And our kidneys are filtering our blood constantly, right?
Yeah.
What happens there when we're dehydrated?
Your kidneys are absolute workhorses, filtering about 50 gallons of blood every single day.
50 gallons?
Yeah, it's amazing. When you're chronically dehydrated, they have to work significantly harder to concentrate your urine and conserve every last drop of water. This increased workload can, over time, lead to kidney damage and reduced function.
And poor kidney function is linked to other problems, right?
Definitely. A decline in kidney function isn't just a kidney problem. It significantly impacts overall lifespan and dramatically increases your risk of cardiovascular disease. It's all connected. And think about blood pressure. Even mild dehydration can increase blood pressure by maybe 10 to 15 points.
Really? Just mild dehydration?
Yes. And for someone already on the cusp of hypertension, that's a critical difference for long-term health outcomes.
The good news here, though, seems to be that a lot of this damage is preventable.
Absolutely. So much of this is preventable simply by maintaining proper hydration throughout your life. You're literally preserving your cardiovascular system, making it more resilient.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener, especially when it comes to your brain, which, as you said, is about 73% water? That's a lot.
It is. And the brain is incredibly sensitive to even small changes in hydration status. It doesn't really store extra water, so it relies on a constant, fresh supply of well-hydrated blood to function optimally.
And chronic dehydration. It affects brain aging.
Directly. It's been linked to accelerated brain aging and an increased risk of cognitive decline.
Let's talk about the glymphatic system. This is relatively new, right? the brain's waste clearance system.
Yes. Discovered relatively recently, around 2012. Think of it as your brain's internal plumbing or drainage system. Its job is to clear out toxic proteins like amyloid beta and tau.
The ones linked to Alzheimer's.
Exactly, those notorious proteins. And here's the critical part. This system operates primarily during sleep and is heavily dependent on adequate hydration to function properly.
So it needs water pressure, basically.
That's a perfect analogy. When you're dehydrated, this waste clearance system becomes sluggish and inefficient, like a city sewage system when there's not enough water flow.
Pipes get clogged.
Exactly. Waste doesn't flow properly, things back up, and toxic buildup occurs. That's essentially what happens in your brain when you're chronically dehydrated. Those toxic proteins start to accumulate in your brain tissue, directly contributing to neurodegeneration and cognitive decline.
So if that brain drain is clogged, our brain literally can't clean itself effectively while we sleep. That sounds like a huge problem.
It is a huge problem, and studies back this up. People who maintain better hydration throughout their lives actually tend to have larger brain volumes and better cognitive function as they age.
Larger brain volumes.
Yes. Conversely, chronic dehydration is associated with measurable brain shrinkage, especially in crucial areas for memory and executive function. Dehydration can also make your blood-brain barrier more permeable.
The barrier that protects the brain.
Right. If it's more permeable or leaky, it might allow harmful substances to sneak into the brain. This can lead to neuroinflammation, which we know is a key driver of neurodegenerative diseases.
And this isn't just long-term stuff, right? Dehydration affects us immediately.
Absolutely. Even mild dehydration, we're talking as little as a 2% loss of body water, can immediately impair memory, attention, and executive function.
2%? That's not much at all.
It isn't. Think about that. You could be operating at, say, 85 to 90% of your cognitive capacity on a daily basis without even realizing it, just from being slightly dehydrated.
That's a sobering thought.
And from a longevity perspective, maintaining good cognitive health is one of the strongest predictors of overall health and well-being as you age. People who think clearly tend to be more physically active, have better social connections, and generally make healthier lifestyle choices. It all ties together.
Does hydration affect mood too? Neurotransmitters?
Yes, it does. Hydration affects the synthesis and function of neurotransmitters, things like serotonin, dopamine, GABA. These profoundly impact your mood, sleep, and overall cognition. Chronic dehydration has even been linked to increased rates of depression and anxiety.
And the sleep connection again.
Right. Dehydration increases your core body temperature, making it harder to fall into that deep restorative sleep. And that's precisely when your glymphatic system, your brain's cleaning crew, is most active.
So it's a double hit for brain aging. Poor cleaning and poor sleep.
Exactly, a vicious cycle. Which raises an important question. How does hydration impact your body's broader ability to, clean house, specifically through its detoxification system?
Right, the liver, kidneys.
All of that. Your body is constantly dealing with toxins, environmental pollutants, chemicals in food, metabolic waste generated naturally inside you. Every single one of your detoxification systems relies heavily on adequate hydration.
So all our body's filters need water to run properly, like any filter, really.
Exactly. Take your liver, your primary detox organ. Its processes, particularly what's called phase 2 detoxification, absolutely require adequate water to work efficiently. If you're dehydrated, this phase becomes impaired. That means potentially harmful intermediate compounds can accumulate, contributing to cellular damage and accelerated aging.
And the kidneys, we touched on them, but they're crucial for detox too.
Absolutely. Filtering 50 gallons of blood daily. Dehydration concentrates urine, which can not only damage kidney tissue over time, but also increase the risk of painful kidney stones. Chronic dehydration causes progressive kidney damage and reduced filtration capacity. That's a major hit to your detox ability.
What about the lymphatic system? I feel like that's less understood.
It is often overlooked, but it's vital. Think of it as your body's parallel circulatory system, or maybe its sewage system for larger waste. It's a vast network for waste, fluid, and immune cells. And it relies on muscle contractions, breathing, and crucially, hydration to move fluid along. Dehydration leads to sluggish lymphatic flow.
So lymph jams up.
Pretty much. Waste accumulates, inflammation rises, and it can even increase your susceptibility to infections because immune cells aren't moving around efficiently.
Even skin, sweating.
Yes, sweating is a vital detoxification pathway that becomes impaired when you're dehydrated. You just don't sweat as effectively.
So the cumulative effect of all this, impaired liver, kidneys, lymph, sweating, is just a buildup of toxins in our bodies. And that contributes to aging.
Precisely. The cumulative effect of impaired detoxification leads to toxin accumulation, increased inflammation, oxidative stress, and cellular damage, all of which accelerate the aging process. In fact, studies suggest people with better detoxification capacity, which is directly linked to being well hydrated, tend to have longer, healthier lifespans.
And this links to inflammaging.
Yeah.
That term we hear a lot now.
Directly. Inflammaging, that chronic, low-grade inflammation that smolders throughout the body, is a primary driver of aging and age-related diseases. Dehydration contributes significantly by impairing toxin elimination and increasing cellular stress, creating a vicious cycle. Now, let's talk about digestive health and nutrient absorption, because every single process within your digestive system is heavily dependent on adequate water.
Starting right in the beginning with saliva.
Exactly. Your mouth produces about 1.5 liters of saliva every day. That's mostly water, like 99% water. It contains crucial digestive enzymes to start breaking down food, plus antimicrobials to protect you. Dehydration leads to dry mouth, which isn't just uncomfortable, it can cause dental issues and impairs that initial digestion.
And poor oral health is linked to other problems, right?
Yes. Surprisingly, it's linked to broader systemic issues, including cardiovascular disease. Then there's gastric juice in your stomach, about 2.5 liters daily. Crucial for protein digestion and absorbing key nutrients like vitamin B12 and iron. Dehydration significantly impairs its production.
So without enough water, our food isn't properly broken down right from the very beginning.
That's right, and it continues down the line. In your small intestine, you have these tiny finger-like projections called villi. They're responsible for absorbing nutrients into your bloodstream. They need a hydrated environment to do their job efficiently. Dehydration can contribute to what's often called leaky gut.
Leaky gut. So less nutrient absorption and more bad stuff getting through.
Potentially, yes. Less absorption of the good stuff, and potentially more absorption of toxins or undigested particles into your bloodstream, which can trigger inflammation.
In the large intestine, constipation seems like an obvious dehydration link.
It is. When you're dehydrated, your large intestine tries to conserve water by extracting even more from the waste passing through. This leads to harder stools, constipation, and potentially more toxin reabsorption back into the body. Chronic constipation is also linked to an increased risk of colorectal cancer.
And what about our gut microbiome, that huge ecosystem inside us? Does water matter there?
Profoundly. Your gut microbiome, those trillions of bacteria in your intestines, thrives in a balanced, hydrated environment. Proper hydration supports a healthy, diverse microbiome. Chronic dehydration, on the other hand, can lead to dysbiosis, an unhealthy imbalance in those gut bacteria.
And a healthy microbiome is crucial for, well, almost everything now, it seems.
Pretty much. Immune function, inflammation regulation, neurotransmitter production, even gene expression, all vital for longevity. And it all relies on a healthy gut, which relies on hydration.
This also links to the gut-brain axis.
Absolutely. Proper hydration supports that vital communication highway between your gut and brain, which influences mood, cognition, and immunity. Furthermore, chronic dehydration can directly impair the absorption of important water-soluble vitamins like C and the B vitamins, and essential minerals like magnesium, potassium, and zinc.
So you might be eating well, but not absorbing nutrients properly if you're dehydrated.
That's a real possibility. Even your digestive enzymes, produced by organs like the pancreas, need hydration to function properly and be transported efficiently. Impaired enzyme function means partially digested food, which can lead to bloating, inflammation, and potential food sensitivities. It's truly a domino effect throughout the entire digestive system. Moving on to physical and hormonal harmony, let's discuss temperature regulation and metabolic efficiency. This is fundamental.
Keeping our cool, basically.
Exactly. Your body's ability to maintain a stable core temperature is absolutely essential for optimal cellular function. Water has a high specific heat capacity, which makes it an excellent thermal buffer. It helps prevent rapid temperature changes.
And sweating is the main way we cool down.
It's our primary cooling mechanism, yes. And it obviously requires adequate water reserves. When you're dehydrated, this sweating mechanism is impaired. You can't cool yourself effectively. This can lead to a rise in your core body temperature or hyperthermia.
So even just mild dehydration could mean our body's running a little hot all the time. What's the big deal with that long term?
Well, the big deal is that chronic mild hyperthermia, just running slightly too warm consistently, actually accelerates aging. It triggers stress responses in your cells, including activating things called heat shock proteins.
Heat shock proteins, signs of stress.
Exactly. Signs your body is under duress. Your metabolism, too, operates best within very narrow temperature ranges. Dehydration impairs this metabolic efficiency. It leads to increased oxidative stress, waste accumulation, and can even cause changes in body composition over time, favoring more fat storage and less muscle mass.
And the heart works harder too, right?
Yes, your heart works harder not just to pump thicker blood, but also to try and cool the body when sweating is inefficient. And enzymes throughout your body, which facilitate virtually every chemical reaction, are highly temperature sensitive. Dehydration impairs their efficiency across the board.
Affecting energy, repair.
Everything. Everything. Proper hydration also aids your body's natural temperature drop at night, which is crucial for getting into deep restorative sleep. And heat stress from dehydration increases stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, which negatively impact immune function and blood sugar regulation. It's all interconnected.
Beyond just feeling comfortable, let's talk about joint health and mobility. These are so critical for healthy aging and independence. What role does water play there?
An absolutely vital role. Your joints depend heavily on proper hydration. Take synovial fluid, for instance.
The joint lubricant.
Exactly. It lubricates your joints, nourishes your cartilage, and removes waste. It's about 80% water. Dehydration compromises both its quality and its quantity.
So it's like a car engine running low on oil, things start grinding.
Precisely. Without enough, or if the quality is poor, you get increased friction and wear and tear. Cartilage itself, the smooth protective tissue cushioning the ends of your bones, is also about 80% water.
80% water in cartilage.
Wow. Yes. And it doesn't have its own blood supply, so it receives nutrients via diffusion from the synovial fluid. This process entirely depends on water movement. Dehydration impairs nutrient delivery and waste removal, leading to cartilage breakdown, a hallmark of osteoarthritis.
Does it affect how cushiony it is?
Absolutely. Cartilage's shock-absorbing property, its viscoelasticity, depends heavily on its water content. Dehydration makes it less resilient, more brittle, and much more prone to damage from impact or stress.
From a longevity perspective then, keeping joints healthy seems key for staying active and independent.
It's paramount, and dehydration-induced joint damage triggers inflammation, creating a destructive cycle that accelerates deterioration. This chronic joint inflammation can also spill over and contribute to systemic whole-body inflammation.
What about the surrounding structures, muscles, tendons?
They're crucial too. Your muscles, which support and stabilize your joints, are about 76% water. Tendons and ligaments, which provide stability and flexibility, are about 70% water. Dehydration weakens muscles and makes these connective tissues more brittle and less elastic. This significantly increases your risk of strains, sprains, and other injuries, which can obviously limit your ability to be physically active.
So it affects recovery too.
Yes, your joints need adequate hydration for efficient repair and recovery after exercise or minor injuries. Chronic dehydration impairs this healing process. Even your spinal discs, those vital cushions between your vertebrae, are incredibly high in water content, especially in youth, around 90%. Dehydration accelerates disc thinning and degeneration, a major cause of back pain and reduced mobility as we age.
The practical takeaway here seems clear.
It really is. Proper hydration is one of the most cost-effective fundamental investments you can make in your long-term joint health and independence. It's preventative maintenance, far superior to relying on pain meds or surgeries down the line. Now, let's talk about the immune system connection, which is equally profound.
Okay, how does water tie into fighting off bugs?
Well, start with your first line of defense, your mucosal barriers. These line your respiratory tract, digestive tract, urogenital tract. They're coated in mucus, which traps pathogens. And that mucus is about 95% water.
95%.
Yes. So dehydration reduces the quantity and quality of this protective mucus layer, making you much more susceptible to infections. Think about how a dry mouth or nose often precedes getting sick.
Right, that scratchy throat feeling. Makes sense.
Exactly. Then there's the lymphatic system again, which we mentioned for detox. It also transports immune cells and filters pathogens. It becomes sluggish when dehydrated, impairing immune cell mobility and waste clearance throughout your body.
So immune cells can't get where they need to go quickly.
Precisely. Your blood plasma, too, which is 90% water, is the transport medium for immune cells and antibodies. Dehydration concentrates your blood, impairing this crucial transport system. And the immune cells themselves need hydration for optimal function. For example, dehydrated neutrophils, a type of white blood cell, are less mobile. T cells and B cells need water for rapid division and antibody production when they're fighting off an invader.
What about communication between immune cells?
Good question. Cytokines are the signaling molecules that coordinate immune responses. Dehydration can actually dysregulate cytokine production, leading either to inadequate immune responses or, sometimes, excessive inflammation. Chronic dehydration actually accelerates immunosenescence.
Immunosenescence, the aging of the immune system.
Exactly. The age-related decline in immune function. This significantly increases your risk of infections, cancer, and autoimmune diseases as you get older. Dehydration speeds that up.
Even fever, that's part of the immune response.
Yes. Fever is a powerful defense mechanism, but it significantly increases your water needs, maybe 10–15% more fluid loss per degree Celsius of temperature elevation. Dehydration can actually impair your body's ability to mount an effective fever response.
And antioxidants.
Hydration is needed for your body's own antioxidant systems to function properly and manage oxidative stress. Dehydration, frustratingly, increases oxidative stress while simultaneously reducing your antioxidant capacity. It's a double whammy.
We keep hearing about the gut. Immunity there, too.
Hugely important. About 70% of your immune system resides in your gut. Hydration supports that crucial intestinal barrier function and maintains the beneficial gut bacteria that train and regulate your immune responses. Finally, remember that chronic dehydration is a form of physiological stress. This elevates cortisol, a hormone known to suppress immune function over the long term.
And poor sleep from dehydration also hurts immunity.
Right. Sleep is absolutely crucial for immune processes like memory consolidation for pathogens. Dehydration impairs sleep quality.
The practical takeaway seems clear. Stay hydrated for a stronger immune system.
Absolutely. People who stay consistently hydrated tend to have fewer infections, recover faster when they do get sick, and maintain better overall immune function as they age. It's fundamental immune support. And finally, let's look at hormonal balance and endocrine function. These are truly the master regulators of your body and directly impact longevity.
Hormones are key for aging well. How does water fit in?
Well, let's circle back to vasopressin, that antidiuretic hormone. We talked about its cardiovascular effects, but remember the NIH study linked chronic elevation from dehydration to accelerated biological aging.
Right, people were biologically older if their vasopressin was high.
Exactly, it's a marker. The study showed higher vasopressin correlated with a significantly older biological age, independent of chronological age. It can even affect insulin sensitivity, contributing to metabolic issues.
So it's not just that your body's holding on to water, but the hormone signal itself, if chronically high, is linked to faster aging.
That's what the evidence suggests. It seems to be a subtle but powerful driver or indicator of age-related decline. And then there's cortisol, the stress hormone.
We just mentioned that with immunity.
Right. Chronic dehydration is a physiological stressor. It leads to chronically elevated cortisol. And this isn't just about feeling stressed. Elevated cortisol suppresses immune function, impairs wound healing, increases abdominal fat storage, disrupts sleep patterns, accelerates bone loss, and can even shrink certain regions of your brain over time, like the hippocampus, which is vital for memory.
That's a huge cascade of negative effects from just being chronically a bit dry. What about other important hormones like growth hormone?
Growth hormone is primarily released during deep sleep. We've established dehydration impairs sleep quality. So it follows that chronic dehydration could potentially reduce growth hormone levels. Lower growth hormone is linked to accelerated aging, reduced muscle mass, increased body fat, and decreased bone density.
Thyroid hormones, they control metabolism.
Yes, and chronic dehydration can interfere with thyroid hormone production or the conversion of inactive T4 to active T3 hormone. This can lead to a sluggish metabolism, manifesting as fatigue, weight gain, and feeling cold all the time.
What about sex hormones? Estrogen, testosterone.
Dehydration can potentially accelerate the natural age-related declines in estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. These hormones impact so much: reproductive function, bone health, cardiovascular health, brain function, muscle mass, energy levels. The list goes on. Maintaining balance is key for vitality.
Melatonin, the sleep hormone.
Melatonin is also a powerful antioxidant. Dehydration can influence its production, potentially impacting both sleep quality and antioxidant defenses, especially as melatonin naturally declines with age.
And I've heard some people confuse thirst for hunger. Is there a hormonal component to that confusion?
Absolutely. Dehydration can disrupt the balance of leptin and ghrelin, your key hunger and satiety hormones. This can lead to increased appetite, cravings, overeating, and ultimately weight gain because your body is sending out signals for something, maybe water, but you interpret it as needing food.
That's a common trap.
It is. Aldosterone is another hormone that increases with dehydration. It helps retain sodium in water. But chronic elevation can cause high blood pressure, heart and kidney damage, and deplete potassium levels. Finally, hydration also supports optimal insulin-like growth factor, IGF-1 signaling, which is important for growth, development, and cellular repair throughout life.
It's really incredible when you think about the cost and complexity of things like hormone replacement therapies later in life. The idea that simply maintaining proper hydration provides such fundamental support for hormonal balance.
It's foundational. It doesn't replace targeted therapies if needed, of course, but it creates the right internal environment for your endocrine system to function optimally for longer. It's a simple, powerful intervention for hormonal health and overall longevity. Okay, so now that we've explored the countless ways hydration or lack thereof impacts longevity, let's dive into the practical science of optimal hydration.
Right, moving beyond the basics.
Exactly. This isn't just about mindlessly chugging water or blindly following that old drink 8 glasses a day rule.
Which you're saying is basically a myth.
It really is an oversimplification with no solid scientific basis as a universal rule. Your optimal hydration needs are actually highly individual.
Individual how?
They vary based on your body size, your activity level, the climate you're in, your general health status, your age, and even your genetics play a role.
So if not 8 glasses, what are the general guidelines now?
Well, the current National Academy of Medicine recommendations suggest, as a starting point, that men typically need about 15.5 cups total fluid per day.
15.5 cups.
Yeah.
That's about 3.7 liters.
Right. And women typically need about 11.5 cups, which is around 2.7 liters.
But those are just starting points, you said.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And critically, those figures include fluid from food. Surprisingly, food provides about 20% of your daily fluid intake for most people.
20% from food.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do we actually assess if we're hitting our optimal hydration mark? What's the best practical way to tell?
The most practical day-to-day method is simply monitoring your urine color and frequency.
The P-test.
P-test. Ideally, you're looking for pale yellow urine, like a light lemonade color, and you should probably be urinating every 2 to 4 hours during your waking hours.
And if dark yellow?
Dark yellow often indicates you need more fluids, you're likely dehydrated. Consistently clear urine, on the other hand, might actually suggest you're overhydrating, maybe diluting electrolytes.
Okay, pale yellow is the goal. Any caveats?
Yeah, remember that medications, certain supplements like B vitamins, or even foods like beets can affect urine color, so don't rely on color alone. Also pay attention to frequency and just how you feel, overall energy levels, thirst, headaches.
For a more precise measure, you could track volume.
Yes, aiming for roughly 1 to 2 liters of urine output per day is a good general target for most adults. The timing of your hydration is also surprisingly important. Your body can only absorb so much fluid at once.
Right, you can't just chug a gallon and be done.
Not effectively, no. Your body can absorb roughly 8 to 10 ounces of fluid, maybe a standard glass, every 15 to 20 minutes. Drinking way too much too quickly can actually be counterproductive and just lead to frequent urination without full absorption.
What about that idea of front-loading water in the morning?
There's definitely no merit to that. Drinking a larger glass, say 16 to 20 ounces first thing in the morning after overnight dehydration, has significant benefits. It helps rehydrate tissues, kickstarts your metabolism, can improve cognitive function for the day, and just gets you ahead on your fluid intake.
And I've heard about adding things like a pinch of sea salt or a squeeze of lemon to that morning water. Does that actually help absorption?
It can. Adding a small pinch of unrefined sea salt provides trace minerals, including sodium, which helps water get into your cells. Lemon juice adds some minerals too and can make it more palatable for some people. It's about enhancing electrolyte balance.
Which brings us to electrolytes, not just water, right?
Absolutely critical. Hydration isn't just about H2O. Electrolytes, minerals like sodium, potassium, magnesium, chloride are vital for fluid balance, nerve function, muscle contraction, everything. Drinking large amounts of pure water alone, especially if you're sweating a lot during exercise in hot weather or if you're ill, can actually dilute your body's electrolytes, which can be dangerous.
So sometimes we need more than just plain water.
Sometimes, yes. Particularly during or after significant fluid loss, water quality also matters, of course.
Tap water versus bottled.
Tap water is generally safe and well regulated in many places, but it can contain things like chlorine or fluoride that some people prefer to avoid. The most important thing is that your water source is clean, safe, and free from harmful contaminants like heavy metals or bacteria. Filtering tap water is often a good, cost-effective option.
What about alkaline water? That's trendy.
There's some evolving research suggesting slightly alkaline water, maybe with a pH of 8 to 9, might be absorbed slightly better or have antioxidant effects, but the research is still pretty preliminary and often funded by companies selling it. The jury is definitely still out. Clean, safe water is paramount.
And water temperature. Does cold versus room temp matter for absorption?
Room temperature or slightly cool water might be absorbed a tiny bit faster than very cold water, which can slightly constrict blood vessels in the stomach. However, some people find cold water more refreshing and drink more of it. So the best temperature is probably the one that encourages you to drink enough.
So it sounds like we should be thinking beyond just the tap of the bottle. What about the food we eat? You said 20% of fluid comes from food.
Yes, the food connection is often overlooked but significant. About 20% of your daily fluid intake comes from water-rich foods.
Like what?
Think about cucumbers, which are 96% water, celery, lettuce too. Tomatoes are about 94%, watermelon 92%, spinach 90%. Berries, oranges. Lots of fruits and vegetables are packed with water.
And they provide other benefits too.
Exactly. These foods also provide valuable electrolytes, vitamins, minerals, and fiber. So eating a diet rich in fruits and vegetables contributes significantly to overall hydration.
What about drinks like coffee or tea? Do they count?
For regular users, yes. Moderate caffeine consumption, generally considered up to about 400 milligrams a day, which is maybe 3-4 cups of coffee, doesn't seem to significantly impair overall hydration status. Your body develops a tolerance to the mild diuretic effect.
So my morning coffee isn't dehydrating me necessarily.
Not if you're a regular drinker and stay within moderate limits. The fluid volume still counts. However, excessive caffeine intake can certainly have a net dehydrating effect.
And alcohol.
Alcohol is a different story. It definitely has significant dehydrating effects because it suppresses vasopressin, that hormone that tells your kidneys to conserve water. So, drinking alcohol increases your overall fluid needs. Then there are special considerations. Exercise is a big one.
Right, you sweat more, you lose more fluid.
Dramatically more. Your hydration needs can increase by 150, 200%, or even more during intense or prolonged exercise, especially in the heat.
What are the guidelines for athletes?
The American College of Sports Medicine generally recommends drinking about 14-22 ounces of fluid 2-4 hours before exercise. Then, during exercise, sipping 6-12 ounces every 15-20 minutes, and rehydrating adequately afterwards, of course.
And electrolytes become more important then.
Absolutely crucial for exercise lasting longer than about an hour, or any time you're sweating heavily, especially in hot conditions. Sodium is the main electrolyte lost in sweat.
What about aging? Hydration needs change as we get older?
Yes, and this is really important. Older adults often have several factors working against them. They tend to have decreased total body water percentage, their kidneys may be less efficient at conserving water, and crucially, their thirst sensation often becomes less reliable.
So they might not feel thirsty even when they need water.
Exactly. This combination significantly increases their risk of dehydration, which can worsen other health conditions or even lead to hospitalization. It's vital for older adults and their caregivers to be proactive about fluid intake.
Medications can affect hydration too.
Definitely. Many common medications, including diuretics, water pills, certain blood pressure medications, antihistamines, and laxatives, can significantly affect your fluid balance. It's important to be aware of that and potentially adjust intake accordingly, maybe discussing it with your doctor.
And finally, climate and environment. Seems obvious, but maybe not always considered.
It's huge. Hot or humid weather obviously increases sweat losses, but people often forget that cold, dry weather also increases fluid needs because you lose more water vapor through respiration. You can see your breath, right?
Right.
Indoor environments with constant air conditioning or central heating also create very dry air, increasing insensible water losses from your skin and lungs. And high altitude is another big one.
Why high altitude?
Several reasons. The air is typically much drier at altitude, increasing respiratory losses. You also tend to breathe faster and deeper initially. And your kidneys may excrete more fluid to adjust blood chemistry. So staying hydrated is extra important when traveling to or living at high altitudes.
Okay, that covers a lot of ground on how to hydrate optimally. But before we jump into the really practical daily steps, let's clear up some of the most common myths and misconceptions, because these can really hold people back, right?
They absolutely can. Busting these myths is key to developing a truly personalized and effective hydration strategy.
All right, let's tackle myth number 1, the big one. You have to drink 8 glasses of water a day, period. True or false?
Definitely false, as a rigid rule. As we just discussed, it has no solid scientific foundation. Individual needs vary way too much. It's just an overly simplistic guideline that's stuck.
Okay, so forget the rigid 8 glasses. Myth number 2. Clear urine means you're perfectly hydrated. Is clear the goal?
Not necessarily. While you don't want dark urine, consistently clear urine might actually indicate overhydration. You could be flushing out electrolytes. Pale yellow, like light lemonade, is generally the optimal target.
Good distinction. Pale yellow, not clear. Myth number 3. Thirst is a reliable indicator of hydration needs. Basically, just drink when you feel thirsty.
That's a common approach, but unfortunately it's less reliable than you might think, especially as you age or during intense exercise. By the time you actually feel thirsty, you're likely already in a state of mild dehydration. Thirst lags behind need.
Okay, so be proactive. Don't wait for thirst. Myth number 4. Coffee and other caffeinated beverages don't count toward hydration at all.
Mostly false for regular users. As we said, moderate caffeine intake is generally fine for overall hydration in people who are accustomed to it. The fluid volume still contributes significantly.
Great news for coffee lovers. Myth number 5. Sports drinks are always better than water for hydration. Are they the gold standard?
False for general, daily hydration. They're specifically formulated with carbohydrates and electrolytes for intense, prolonged exercise or extreme conditions. For everyday needs, water is generally far superior because sports drinks often contain a lot of sugar and extra calories you don't need.
Stick to water unless you're really pushing it. Myth number 6. You can't drink too much water. Is it always safe to drink as much as possible?
False. While it's rare for most people, overhydration, leading to a dangerous condition called hyponatremia, low sodium levels, is absolutely possible. It's a particular risk for endurance athletes who might drink excessive plain water without replacing electrolytes lost in sweat.
So moderation is key even with water. Myth number 7. Expensive bottled water is always better than tap water. Is cost equal to quality?
Generally false. Tap water is highly regulated and safe in many regions. Often, expensive bottled water is just filtered tap water anyway. Focus on ensuring any water you drink is clean and safe. Filtration of tap water is often a great affordable option. Don't assume price equals purity or health benefits.
Good point. Myth number 8. You should drink water at specific temperatures, like ice cold or room temp, for maximum benefit.
Mostly false. There's no strong scientific evidence that one temperature provides significantly superior hydration benefits over another. The best temperature is whatever encourages you to drink enough consistently. Personal preference rules here.
Myth number 9. Alkaline water provides superior health benefits. This one seems very popular right now.
Largely false, or at least unproven. The research supporting significant health benefits from alkaline water is limited, often contradictory, and frequently funded by companies selling it. Your body tightly regulates its own pH. Focus on clean, safe water first and foremost. Don't buy into the alkaline hype without strong, independent evidence.
Okay, stick to the basics. Myth number 10. You only need to worry about hydration during hot weather or exercise. Only a summer thing.
Definitely false. You need adequate hydration year-round. As we discussed, cold weather, dry indoor air from heating, and altitude all increase your fluid needs too, often without you realizing it as much because you might not be sweating, obviously.
Myth number 11. If you're not sweating, you're not losing water. If I'm sitting still indoors, I'm fine, right?
False! You have constant insensible water losses happening all the time. Water evaporates from your skin and is lost through respiration, just breathing even when you're completely sedentary and not sweating noticeably. These losses add up.
Wow, okay. Myth number 12. Drinking water with meals is bad for digestion because it dilutes stomach acid. A classic piece of advice.
Mostly false. Drinking moderate amounts of water with meals is perfectly fine for most people and can actually aid digestion by helping to soften food and move things along. Excessive amounts might theoretically dilute enzymes slightly, but typical consumption isn't a problem.
So don't fear water with food. Myth number 13. Natural spring water is always better or safer.
False. Natural doesn't automatically mean safe or pure. Spring water can still contain contaminants depending on the source and how it's handled. The key is ensuring water is tested, treated if necessary, and confirmed to be clean and safe, regardless of whether it's labeled natural or not.
Safety over marketing terms. Myth number 14. Hydration needs are basically the same for everyone. Seems we've busted this one thoroughly.
Absolutely false. As we've covered, needs are highly individual based on numerous factors.
And finally, myth number 15. You can make up for poor daily hydration by just drinking a whole lot occasionally, like on the weekend. Can you catch up easily?
Mostly false. Consistency is absolutely best for maintaining optimal hydration and cellular function. While you can rehydrate after being dehydrated, your body functions much better with a steady, consistent supply. Trying to catch up by chugging large amounts isn't ideal and doesn't undo the stress of dehydration experienced earlier. Gradual rehydration is also key if you do get dehydrated.
Understanding these myths really clears the path, doesn't it? It helps you develop a much more flexible, realistic, and science-based approach that's tailored to your actual needs.
Exactly. It frees you from rigid, often incorrect rules.
All right, let's translate all this fascinating science and myth-busting into practical, actionable steps listeners can start implementing today. Because knowing is one thing, doing is another. The foundation here seems to be developing consistent, sustainable habits, right? This isn't a quick fix. It's a long-term investment in your health and longevity.
Absolutely. Sustainability is key. So, action step 1. Assess your current hydration status. Get baseline. For the next week, simply pay conscious attention. Monitor your urine color and frequency. Notice your energy levels, especially mid-afternoon slumps. Note any symptoms like headaches, dry skin, or fatigue. Maybe even keep a simple log. Rough estimate of how much you drink, when you urinate, color, and how you feel. This self-awareness provides incredible insights into where you're starting from.
So like a personal hydration audit for a week. Okay, makes sense. Then what?
Action step 2. Calculate your personalized baseline needs. Don't just grab the 8x8 rule. Start with those general recommendations from the National Academy of Medicine, roughly 15.5 cups total fluid for men, 11.5 for women, remembering that includes about 20% from food. But then, crucially, adjust that starting point based on your activity level, the climate you live in, any specific health conditions or medications, and importantly, how your body responds based on your self-assessment from step 1. This is about finding your optimal range.
So it's an estimate followed by fine-tuning. Got it. Step 3.
Action step 3. Establish hydration anchors. Build water intake into your existing daily routines. Choose consistent times to drink water that fit naturally. For example, a glass upon waking, maybe one before each meal, perhaps one before bed if it doesn't disrupt sleep. These anchors provide a simple framework. Just those 4 times could easily provide 40–50% of your daily fluid needs without much extra thought.
That's a great strategy. Building it into existing habits makes it almost automatic. And I imagine making water easily accessible helps reinforce those anchors.
Absolutely. That leads to action step 4. Optimize your environment. Make water visible and easy to reach. Keep a water bottle on your desk, in your bag, in your car, wherever you spend significant time. Out of sight, out of mind often applies to hydration. And invest in a reusable water bottle that you genuinely enjoy using. Maybe it keeps water cold, maybe you like the mouthpiece. Little things make a big difference in adherence.
Find a bottle you love. Okay. Step 5.
Action step 5. Enhance water quality if needed or desired. If you have concerns about your tap water quality or taste, invest in a good quality water filter pitcher, faucet mounted or under sink. The goal is clean, safe water that you enjoy drinking. If you don't like the taste, you won't drink enough.
Makes sense. Step 6.
Action step 6. Consciously address exercise and environmental factors. Don't forget these. Remember to significantly increase your fluid intake before, during, and after exercise, incorporating electrolytes if needed. And consciously adjust your intake for other factors like spending time in air conditioning or heating during air travel, changes in climate or altitude when you're ill, or if you're taking medications known to affect fluid balance. Be mindful of these situations.
So situational awareness is key. And once we start implementing these steps, how do we know if our personalized plan is working or if we need to tweak it?
Great question. That's action step 7. Monitor and adjust continuously. Use your body's feedback signals. Keep an eye on your urine color, aiming for pale yellow. Notice your energy levels, cognitive function, exercise performance, skin moisture. Use these signals to fine-tune your intake seasonally and situationally. What works perfectly for you in summer might need adjustment in the winter or on days you're more active. It's an ongoing process.
So listen to your body and be prepared to adapt. Step 8.
Action step 8. Build flexibility and avoid rigidity. Life happens. You'll have busy days, travel, social events where hydration might be challenging. Develop strategies for these situations like carrying your water bottle, choosing hydrating options when eating out, or making a conscious effort to sip water during meetings. Avoid setting overly rigid rules that make you feel like a failure if you miss a target. This isn't about perfection, it's about consistency and making the best choices available in different circumstances.
That's really important for long-term success. Step 9.
Action step 9. Consider the broader context. Remember that hydration doesn't exist in a vacuum. It works synergistically with other pillars of health and longevity. Getting quality sleep, engaging in regular exercise, managing stress effectively, and eating a nutrient-dense diet all support optimal hydration and are, in turn, supported by optimal hydration. Think holistically.
They all work together. And the final step, step 10.
Action step 10. Make it sustainable for you. This is perhaps the most crucial step. Choose strategies and habits that genuinely fit your lifestyle preferences and daily routines. If you truly dislike plain water, find healthy ways to make it more appealing. Infuse it with fruit, add a splash of juice, drink herbal teas. The absolute best hydration plan is the one you can realistically and consistently stick with for the long term.
Find what works and make it last. And what about if you do get dehydrated? What's the best way to recover?
Good point. If you realize you've become dehydrated maybe after intense exercise, illness, or just a lapse focused on gradual rehydration, sip fluids slowly and steadily over time rather than trying to chug a huge amount quickly. Small, frequent sips, potentially with electrolytes included, are usually better absorbed and less likely to cause stomach upset.
Excellent practical advice. So as we wrap up this deep dive, let's just quickly recap the key insights because we've covered so much ground. Proper hydration isn't just about quenching thirst. It's a fundamental pillar of longevity that profoundly impacts literally every single system in your body.
That's right. From basic cellular function and energy production to cardiovascular health, brain function, and waste clearance, your detoxification pathways, digestion, and nutrient absorption.
Temperature regulation, joint health and mobility, your immune system's resilience, and even your delicate hormonal balance. Water is woven into all of it. And that compelling research, like the major NIH study, serves as a stark reminder. People who consistently maintain better hydration don't just live longer, they live healthier lives with fewer chronic diseases and measurably slower biological aging.
And conversely, the widespread, often unnoticed issue of chronic mild dehydration is silently accelerating this aging process for potentially millions of people who don't even realize it's happening.
But here's the really empowering part, the beautiful simplicity and sheer power in all this. Optimizing your hydration is arguably one of the most accessible, low-cost, high-impact longevity interventions available to you right now.
It really is. It requires basically water and consistency. That's it.
And the benefits begin almost immediately. You can often feel improvements in energy, focus, and just overall well-being within days of improving your hydration. And those benefits compound over a lifetime, building resilience and vitality. Remember, this isn't about achieving perfection overnight. It's about consistent practice. Even small, deliberate improvements in your daily hydration habits make a significant difference over time. So here's a final thought to leave you with. Think about all the energy, time, and maybe money you put into other aspects of your health, your diet, your exercise routine, perhaps supplements. What if one of the most profound foundational investments you could make in your long-term vitality was simply reaching for that next glass of water? What if you made drinking water a conscious, deliberate act of self-care, a tangible investment in your future self, day after day? What deeper connections, what enhanced vitality might you discover within your own body when you truly decide to nourish it at this fundamental cellular level? It's definitely something worth pondering.